This is the new Pixel 7 Pro, the last big flagship phone release of the year, and with more time on its hands to improve, has Google managed to create the ultimate smartphone camera? Well, there is only one way to find out: a direct comparison with the popular iPhone 14 Pro and the Galaxy S22 Ultra. But before we dive in, quick shout out to Subcase for sponsoring a portion of this video. So the Pixel 7 Pro keeps the camera bar on the back of the phone for this standout look, and you can recognize a Pixel in a crowd easily. We love that the camera bar is now an integral part of the frame of the phone itself. The whole body feels more rigid that way. By the way, it's a glossy metal finish on the Pixel 7 Pro and a matte finish on the vanilla model. And while the glossy one looks cool, it also picks up scratches like crazy. Check it out just after a few days of use and it's already damaged. Anyway, let's take a look at the actual photos, starting as always with a few selfies. One advantage that the Pixel has over the Galaxy is a much wider front camera, which is great if you want to fit more people in a shot. As far as quality goes, the Pixel does great. Notice how in this shot, the iPhone clipped the highlights, while the Pixel and the Galaxy did not. And also in low light again, the Pixel and Galaxy perform better than the iPhone. Apple could definitely do a bit better, so it gets the second place, while the Pixel and the Galaxy split the first this round. Next up, the main camera. All of these phones shoot 12 megapixel photos by default, but they have even bigger sensors. So the iPhone can also shoot ProRAW files at its full 48 megapixel resolution, while the Galaxy can shoot full resolution 108 megapixel files. On the Pixel, however, there is no way to shoot at the full 50 megapixel resolution of the sensor, which is a bit disappointing. Now for this comparison, we'll only look at the default 12 megapixel files from all phones, and oh boy, do we have some mixed results. From the very first picture, you can see the Pixel has a darker, gloomier look than the other two. The Galaxy, on the other hand, captured an extremely vibrant photo with vivid colors, and those blue skies that you see, they are not really there, at least not in that color. So while the image looks good, it is also definitely very exaggerated. The iPhone, on the other hand, strikes a good balance in this shot. It's more or less realistic, and it's not underexposed. In the second shot, the iPhone exposes the midtones more than the Pixel, but for all else, the photos are very similar, while the Galaxy once again goes wild with the colors, which is definitely a trend. In the next photo again, we see the Pixel produce a weirdly dark and underexposed photo. This doesn't happen always with the Pixel, but sometimes it does, and that's annoying. But notice the weird processing on the Galaxy. It makes it look as if there was a shadow in the sand, while there is none of that on the other two phones. In these next photos, we just see those trends repeat again and again. The Pixel has an excellent amount of detail and realistic colors, but it's often a bit too dark, especially in those midtones. We already mentioned the often extreme saturation and exaggerated photos on the Galaxy, and how it tends to smudge the detail in the photos. And the iPhone, well, it captures mostly pleasing shots, but Apple has turned up the sharpening to an extreme level. This makes it really hard to pick one winner in this round. You have to go with what you like best, and none of them is quite perfect. Now, if you ask me what is the biggest change in the Pixel 7 Pro, I would have to say that it's just how much quicker it is when taking night photos. The previous Pixel was super slow, but this new model is almost as fast as the Galaxy and the iPhone. The differences here are not huge, but the Pixel usually has a slightly cleaner detail in night photos, and I still feel that it is the best phone for this kind of low light shots. The Galaxy can be often a bit noisy at times, and the iPhone has excessive sharpening, so we'd give this round to the Pixel. Now, speaking of innovation, both the cheaper Pixel 7 and the Pixel 7 Pro now have a new 2x zoom mode with nearly lossless quality, or so Google claims. The phones just use the central part of their larger main sensor for this, which is the same trick that the iPhone introduced just a couple months ago. So does this work? Now we first compared the 2x mode on the Pixel 6 Pro from last year that does not use this trick against the new Pixel 7 Pro, and the improvement was there, but it was slight. Now next, take a look at the close-up from a photo shot at 1.9x on the Pixel 7 Pro, where this effect does not come into force, and then the same shot at 2x. There is a noticeable noticeable difference in the quality and the detail, so we definitely recommend using 2x or more when you decide to zoom in, because that is where the zooming magic happens. But what about the Pixel against the iPhone and the Galaxy in 2x mode? Well, the iPhone also uses the same trick and quality is comparable between the two, but the Galaxy does not, and you can definitely notice this. Detail is not as clear, and this is one area where Samsung will have to improve in its next flagship phone. And yeah, those wild colors on the Galaxy, again, we really wish there was just a way to pick between these saturated, crazy colors and more realistic tones in the camera app. That is not available right now. Alright, this brings me to portrait mode. Some people use this mode a lot and others barely use this mode, and I happen to be in the former camp, so for years I was super frustrated with the Pixel because the quality just wasn't there. Now, I was hoping that the new 2x mode would help fix this, but unfortunately that is not really the case. Portrait mode on the Pixel is only applied after the shot, so you have to check every time if the photo you got actually properly blurred the background, because often it doesn't and you just end up with a regular photo instead of a portrait shot. So the Pixel has a 1x and 2x presets in portrait mode, but you can also freely zoom in and out from 1x to 5x, which is an option that you don't get on the other two phones. However, these 1x and 2x preset modes are misnomers. 1x in portrait mode on the Pixel is actually equal to about 1.5x in the main camera, and 2x is equal to 3x in the main camera. I know it's super confusing and doesn't make any sense. But even if we didn't account for this confusion, portrait mode on the Pixel is just bad, especially with those close-up shots. Notice the far better detail on the iPhone and the Galaxy, and if we were to pick just one winner, we'd go with the Galaxy here. Samsung does a better job with subject separation, but the iPhone is a close runner-up. It's only the Pixel that feels much worse. Now, the one cool trick that all these flagships can do that regular phones cannot is just zooming. And the Pixel 7 Pro has a new and longer range 5x zoom camera. With the iPhone you have a 3x zoom lens, and the Galaxy also has a 3x zoom camera, so it's only natural that the quality at 3x is better on these two compared to the Pixel. Check out a few shots at 3x zoom level right now. But when you switch to 5x, you see how the Pixel, which is the only phone with such a lens, starts to dominate the comparison with far cleaner detail. Now, we did expect the Pixel to do better at 5x, but it's really a massive difference compared to the other phones, so this lens is really good. But for many, the holy grail of zooming has got to be going 10x and beyond, and the Galaxy is the only phone that has a native 10x zoom lens. And while you would expect the Galaxy to crush the competition easily, we found that this is not always the case. Now, in perfect conditions, the 10x lens on the Galaxy gives you more detail and a cleaner shot, but the difference with the Pixel is actually not all that huge. It's only the iPhone that is noticeably behind. When conditions change just a little bit though, the Pixel can often produce a similar or even better photo. Notice these signs in the sunset at 10x zoom. The Galaxy has trouble exposing them, while we have a perfectly clear detail on the Pixel. And jumping over to 15x zoom, notice how there is a ton of noise on the Galaxy, while text on the Pixel is easier to read. Yeah, and the iPhone is just trash. But the 10x zoom camera also has one weakness that is often overlooked. Now, with a smaller sensor size and an aperture of just f4.9, this camera requires a lot more light than the others to operate. Just take a look at this 10x photo captured at sunset. There was still a good amount of light, and the Pixel was able to capture a decent photo, and even the iPhone shot a more or less usable image, but the photo from the Galaxy was an absolute disaster. So just keep in mind that this 10x camera can be great, but it requires a lot of light to operate. And if you don't have that light, you just won't get good photos out of it. But then when it comes to zoom video, the Pixel definitely falls apart. Check out this 10x zoomed footage from all three phones. The Galaxy remains the king of zoom, but the Pixel looks just bad. Detail is missing, colors are messy, and it looks kind of fake. While even the iPhone does a far better job. And speaking of video, check out the new cinematic mode on the Pixel 7 Pro. I don't really like the results. I think the blur is way too aggressive on the Pixel to the point of the video just looking a bit fake, and there are dropped frames that I can see. It all just looks like a beta, quite honestly. The Galaxy and the iPhone do a far better job, but remember that the Galaxy requires a face in the frame for this to work, and notice how you lose the effect the moment I turn my back at the camera. So yeah, cinematic mode on the iPhone is the best one by a long shot, and it wins this round. And whether you have the new Pixel, iPhone or Galaxy, you need proper protection, and this is where our video sponsor Subcase comes in. Their UV Pro Mac case for the iPhone 14 series is durable thanks to a rugged shock-absorbing design, and it is also MagSafe compatible. And check out how strong the magnets inside are. This gives you a peace of mind that your iPhone will stay perfectly mounted whether while charging or in your car, for example. The UV Pro Mac case also has a kickstand, which is great for those moments when you just want to chill and watch some videos on your phone. And check this out, it also doubles as a ring holder and pops back in when you don't need it. We love that the case comes with a built-in screen protector that prevents scratches on the screen and cracks with no compromise to touch sensitivity. Also, you have a belt clip holster that can rotate 360 degrees for your convenience. And now is the perfect moment to get one. Subcase is running a 25% off hero discount for teachers, students, military, first responders and healthcare workers on subcase.com. Check out the link below for all the details and get yourself the UV Pro Mac case right now, or just type iPhone 14 case by Subcase in Amazon to explore all the cases the company offers and pick the one you like best. Alright, back to the big question. Is the Pixel 7 Pro the ultimate camera phone in 2022? You already saw the photos, I think it's very close. Looking back at those photos, the excessive sharpening on the iPhone this year really turns me off. I think the iPhone has kind of lost its edge a bit. And for photos, the Pixel has a natural look and probably the most versatile zoom I have seen in a smartphone. But if I had to pick one, I would probably choose the Galaxy for its more pleasing colors and incredible portrait mode pictures, even if it goes overboard oftentimes. For video, the iPhone is still the best around, and while the Pixel has improved, I think it is a step behind the Galaxy too. So at the end of the day, I think the future actually belongs to larger sensors, new technology. Phones like the Xiaomi 12S Ultra have really taken the game to another level, and it feels like others now have to catch up. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Which camera phone would you take? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for sticking until the end. My name is Vic, signing off right now, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.